Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Ammunation. We're here once again on Saturday night. What day is today? Saturday. We're Saturday night, sorry. And I'm here with my good friend and co-host Irving Twin.
Good
How are you
evening,
tonight,
everyone.
Mr. Twin?
Living the dream, buddy. How are you?
Of course you are. Yeah, me too. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Change that. There we go. Welcome to the Ammunation. Appreciate y'all coming out, my MU Nationals, and I hope you're in for a rocking good time here tonight on the Ammunition live stream. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So what's new in your world, Irving? You said you had a story to tell before we got going.
Oh, because for some reason we got talking about chocolate in the hallway there, and you said how much you hated Hershey's.
I
And
just don't think it's good chocolate. It's not that I hate it, but if I have my
sure,
druthers, it wouldn't be Hershey's. That's for sure.
so you are 100% correct when you say it is bad chocolate. It's literally bad. Okay, so whatever his name Hershey was way back when he started his chocolate company, because of the small amounts of milk that they needed to produce the chocolate, he convinced the regulators that he should be allowed to use milk that would not be otherwise considered still good for like
Oh,
selling as milk. So that weird kind of bitter, almost bile taste is the butyric acid of milk that is going bad, still being used to make chocolate. That's why European chocolate doesn't taste like that, because they
right.
only use the freshest of milk when they're using milk to make chocolate.
Makes
But
sense.
but the Hershey's, they don't use spoiled milk anymore. But because of the distinct taste and the much cheaper cost of it, because they were allowed to use spoiled milk,
Yeah.
they still to this day just add butyric acid to make it taste just a little bit like vomit, like Americans learned that that's how chocolate tastes.
Yeah. It's like they learned how cheese tastes. It tastes like
Yeah.
chemical orange. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean if I have my favorite would probably be Cadbury's. Like I love myself a dairy milk. The wife's a big
Hmm.
fan of the fruit and nut, but I like dairy milk. And Lindt chocolate is good too, but it's way too
Right.
expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but yeah.
Sometimes worth it though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she bought a whole bag full of those little truffle type round truffle things with a whole bunch of different flavors, and I'm like, I just want milk chocolate because invariably there's something that with like coconut in it or something, and I'm like,
Oh
ugh.
yeah.
And I don't know what it is because it's a lot of times they're not labeled; they just have a different color label,
I'll tell you this
color
though,
package.
the salted caramel ones. The
Okay, they are good,
Yeah.
and I didn't think I'd like the candy cane ones, but they are good.
It's not usually my thing, and I can stand them. So yeah, that's a strong endorsement coming from
Yeah,
me. Yeah.
there you go. Well, let's see. We got CMAC and Costin in the chat, although they looks like they commented much earlier. So
Yeah, hours and
welcome you
hours ago.
too. Um, so if you saw tonight's tweet, there's a special guest tonight. I'll divulge that in a little bit, but first I wanted to. Well, I guess it's the first item on the list. So make yourselves known, folks. If you're here, say hello in the chat. Tonight's guest.
Here, one quick dub. You pop that one up.
Uh
It's in your comments.
oh, okay. Comments. Hulkamaniac twin. Hulkamaniac twin. I don't. Is this
So
story evil? Says Costin.
it's
Uh,
the mustache.
yeah, that's
Oh,
it. Oh yeah, I'm Irving Twin, brother. Yep. Hello in the
oh,
chat. Say hello.
Ajax! Holy shit! Been a while.
All right, tonight's guest is you. I'm opening up the Ammunition live stream to anyone who would like to join. I've just put the link to the stream in the chat. I'm going to pin it. Can I pin it? Yes, pin this message. There we go. So it's pinned, so it should appear at the top. If you want to join tonight's Ammunition live stream, just click that link and I'll invite you in. Now, in the last when I first floated this idea, I was talking. Well, I want to see your faces. You can't just show a logo. Um, but I've since softened on that caveat. So if you don't want to show your face and you just want to show a logo, that's fine. As long as we've got a working mic and we can hear what you have to say, then it's all good. It's all good. Too much wafer to chocolate, says Costin. I'm not sure what she's talking about.
Mr. Big, I think.
I
The
love
double
Mr. Big.
size Mr. Big bar, yeah.
Oh, Mr. Oh, the double size? Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's really, really big. You're right. It's too much Mr. Big. Uh, Funnily enough, though, like when they supersize things, like Kit Kat Chunky is better than Kit Kat.
Really?
I think so
Oh,
because there's more wafer, but there's also way more chocolate.
I can't eat it. It's Nestle.
Give me a moment. I'm dressed for the internet, says Costin. So I think Costin's on board with the idea of joining in tonight's uh,
Beautiful.
tonight's live stream. So maybe he'll be our first tonight's guest. But yeah, there's a few topics we want to talk about. Maybe we should talk about if Costin's going to be the first one in, and that's not determined yet. It's whoever actually clicks the link and I see them pop up in the live stream. It's whoever clicks that link first will be our first guest. But
Fair warning, too.
what's that?
I am drinking tonight. By some miracle, I have a Sunday off, so
Hey, all
I'm going to have
right,
a couple drinks.
nice. Enjoy yourself. What is your drink of choice tonight?
Wiser's Special Blend. It's
Wiser
cheap.
Special Blend. I think I've had that. I
It's
think I've
cheap.
had
It
that.
comes in a half bottle, and considering that it's not expensive, it's actually fairly good.
I'm drinking water with a little bit of grape tang flavor shot. So it
Cool.
just makes water taste less like water, basically.
I'm also using this really cool glass I got for Christmas.
That is a nice
Uh,
glass.
So this is actually the very specifically designed for whiskey glass that didn't exist until maybe like 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
Like there's a brandy snifter, there's the champagne flute, there's, a wine sort of goblet with the long stem glass, right? There was
yeah.
never a glass for whiskey, just use a tumbler, right?
Right, right.
But this is apparently supposed to make your whiskey gooder, right?
Here's my hypothesis for how that's supposed to work. So it looks like it's narrower at the top. My guess is it restricts evaporation of the alcohol, and so it hangs onto the alcohol and probably more the aroma or bouquet
Mm,
and the flavor than as it evaporates. Right. See, I can't
exactly.
drink. I can't drink straight whiskey. I can't drink straight alcohol. Well, I can. I just don't prefer it. I would prefer to mix it with something. So I'm a cocktail guy. I'm not a booze guy.
Well, let me explain it because you're most everything you said is also correct, but there's a little more,
Okay.
right? So it's broader at the bottom, which means that there's room for it to aerate, which just means like literally, yes, evaporate, but then it narrows to capture and condense it. So when you put it to your nose, you get more bouquet, right? Rather than it just evaporating from a tumbler wider and wider. But then the lip narrow extends out again, and
Yeah,
this is supposed to deliver whiskey directly to the tip and underside of your tongue,
because it
which it
pours in.
actually does. Yeah. So
It
you're
pours in.
tasting it with everything rather than just taking a shot. It goes right down and you're done. Uh it's
Let's see.
very
So
very
Costin said, "Give me
complicated.
a moment. I'm dressed for the internet." So he's putting on pants, I guess. Um, he said, "Normal size Mr. Big is awesome. I agree. We buy our bars of chocolate, our candy at the dollar store because it's so much cheaper than going to like a convenience store or whatever." And Great Reaction says, I ordered a dozen Glencairn glasses
Is that what the
last
name
year.
of this is?
A
That it's a
Glencairn?
Glencairn and not like a flute or a snifter. It's
Well,
got a
flute's
name.
like champagne, right? Flute's just tall and narrow, right?
Yeah, to keep all the bubbles in, so it has less
Yeah.
surface area so that it stays bubbly longer, right?
Yeah.
So there's a reason that they do that. It's
Sure,
not
sure.
just it's not like I mean it is pretty douchey, but it's not only the douchiness of it. There's an explanation for all of them.
It's somewhat it's not snobby. It's like I don't know. I would equate it to somebody saying if you're gonna play airsoft, once you go HPA, you'll never go back to AEG, which means nothing to anybody who doesn't play airsoft. So HPA is basically it's a faster system that doesn't require a battery. It requires compressed. It relies on compressed air. Normally, people use a tank. To me, I've always thought the tank was just extraneous, and you have a tube running to the tank. But It allows for faster shooting, and you never have to worry about running out of energy for your gun. Stan Ulch says, "You muftafuckers," and he meant motherfuckers. Welcome, Stan. Thank you for coming to the Ammunation tonight. And if you notice the pinned comment up in the chat, there is a link to this live stream. So if you would like to participate in the live stream, get on air, so to speak, with Irving and myself and discuss topics of the day, you're welcome to do it. Damn it, never mind. I've had a few.
I'm just getting started. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm going sober today, although I'm sober most days. So,
Yeah.
Have you seen these ads from I think it's Cancer Society about don't drink in February? Like, if you don't drink in February, you'll help people with cancer. I'm like, how does me not drinking in February help people with cancer? And you'll reduce the risks of your own cancer, of getting cancer yourself. I'm like, how? Well, I can understand that. Okay, if you don't indulge, maybe your chance of not developing cancer is slightly lower, Um, but how does me not drinking in February prevent cancer and or help people with cancer? How?
I don't
Keeps me out of the hospital
the
so they can get the care they need.
the worst part is this already exists, and it exists recreationally for no reason other than people decided to start doing it because it was a generally good idea for themselves.
Right.
Sober October,
Right. So
right?
why make it February?
Because they can't just jump on to something that already exists. They have to steal it.
Oh, I see.
No. We're not part of your thing. It's our thing. Right? It's just douchebaggery. That's all.
Stan says, "You want me buzzing? You can't handle me buzzing." I'm surprised it doesn't reduce your risk of being racist or getting COVID. Yeah,
Uh,
right?
I'll tell you this. Yes, absolutely 100%. Me being sober reduces my risk of being racist.
It doesn't increase your risk of being racist?
Being sober
Oh, I
reduces my
see.
risk of being racist. Yeah.
Do they really want sober Canadians? The last time they did that, the NHL almost went tits up. It reminds me of a quote, or not a quote, like a clip I saw of one of the ministers talking about, you know, the Liberal government scaling back the beer tax because they want to increase it at like 43 cents on a bottle of beer or something like that, right? Like another tax, another sin tax, essentially, right? He's like, beer is like part of our culture. You want to maybe scale that one back? We ask you to do it on the the carbon tax and all that, but maybe just appeal to our sense of identity and take it off beer. Like that's sacrilege what you're asking to do. And she's like, well, maybe you guys would rather we tell people to invest in cryptocurrency. Like this is the thing that they keep coming back to. We're not going to take any advice from you because your leader said people should invest in cryptocurrency to deal with inflation, which is not what he said, and it's completely out of context. But anyway, no takers, eh? You're all a bunch of fucking pussies. Nobody wants to come in the chat. You're all a bunch of fucking cowards. Well, I thought for sure we'd get Costin in here or CMAC or, any one of these fine folk who I just recently labeled cowards. I will move on to a topic then. We'll wait for our tonight's guest. The link is still open if you want to come in and opine. You're welcome to join. I'll leave it there. It may be something I just keep doing and see what happens. But tonight is the trial run, so to speak. All right, C21 minor victory. Now I know you're not a gun owner, Mr. Twin, but I am. And I don't know if you've heard this or not, but there was these amendments that were added while the proposed legislation was in committee that would basically ban all hunting rifles that took a detachable magazine because while we have restrictions, and I think I mentioned this before in a previous stream, while we have restrictions on magazine size on our rifles, the new restriction they want to put in is No, 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 no. It's not that they have to be pinned to 5 rounds. If they can take any magazine that holds more than 5 rounds, they're illegal.
Uh, if I'm not mistaken, it was specifically semi-automatic rifles, not bolt action.
No, but pump action. Well, no, I guess pump. You're right. It was semi-automatic rifles. You're right. It wasn't bolt action because they generally would do 1 round at a time. They're not something that will just fire with every trigger pull.
Yeah,
But either way, anyway, they've now removed that amendment. They've withdrawn that amendment because they realize the backlash associated with it. I mean, it's a really minor victory, as Ruckle the
yeah.
Bailey was saying, because the fact of the matter is they'll probably try and put it in an order in council or reintroduce it at some point or something along those lines. Which what does it mean? It means that basically any gun that you currently have that's semi-automatic, forget it. Now, it doesn't apply to my one semi-automatic rifle, the Browning SA-22, because one, the magazine's not detachable, and two, it's chambered in 22 long rifle. So this only applies to center rifle or center fire ammunition or guns, right? 22 is you can have as many rounds as you want in a 22, as far as the government's concerned, because they don't consider them to be very dangerous. Um,
A rimfire bullet to the head is still a bullet to the head, bro.
it's true, yeah. And then the thing is, like, if it breaks the skull, it'll bounce around in there. It won't exit. So your
Yeah.
basically brain's going to be shredded. Like my sergeant said, you really are drunk, aren't you, Stan? At
Oh
the
yeah.
unit Christmas party, why did God invent whiskey? So the Irish wouldn't take over the world. uh, Semi-auto is better than auto po. Auto is for cover fire in combat. Well, sure, yeah, but I mean, most rifles are semi-automatic. Like either pump action or semi-automatic. I mean, there are a few people who still use break action, shotguns and that kind of thing. But yeah, not very often. Do people just have a single shot rifle? You might
Well,
use a bolt action for like taking down a moose. I can see that
I
at
do
long range.
I do remember people hello Pox. I do remember people tweeting as soon as that was announced pictures of a cougar in their yard. Like they're in the house
Yeah,
and you can see they're taking the picture through their like, French doors to their patio, and not 15 feet from that patio door is a cougar in their backyard. It's
yeah,
like, really? What if my first shot with my bolt action goes wrong at this range? Do you think that I'm going to be able to bolt, re-aim, and fire at this animal before it gets me? Like, are you out of your fucking mind? I live
true.
here.
But the truth is, like a cougar, if a cougar's in your backyard and you fire your bolt action rifle, whatever caliber it might be, unless you've got a compensator on it or a silencer, which are illegal in Canada. Who knew that safety devices for hearing were illegal? Whatever. Um, uh, the report is probably going to scare that mountain lion away.
You know what? If that mountain lion is hungry and desperate,
Sure, sure.
right?
But just think about the sensitivity of a mountain lion's ears, and then you get the loud crack, which would normally, if you didn't have hearing protection on, it's probably going to come close to deafening you periodic or temporarily at least. And that cat not expecting it, then yeah, that's why shotgun would be better.
Just not a gamble. I think a person who lives in an area like that should be forced to take by the government. That's all.
No, I agree. The government
Yeah.
shouldn't have any say in what property I'm allowed to own. As long as well, actually, I would say no. If it's can be created and manufactured, here's my hardcore libertarian coming. If it can be created and manufactured, I should be allowed to own it. I was in the unit that had the MP that was on duty when the natives took over Ipperwash. Oh, well, Stan, you should come in the chat and we can talk about that because we were talking about Indian protests in a previous stream, and I gave my 2 cents on it. But yeah, you know what? I'm still waiting for one of you lily livered cocksuckers to come into the stream. But whenever you're ready, whenever you're ready. Uh, right to repair. Yeah, right to repair. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with right to repair. That's why I like the Aptera 3-wheel electric car out of California. I don't know if you folks are aware of it. It looks like a Jetson space car, but it's a three-wheeler. It has solar panels all over the damn thing, even inside, like on the front dash, so that conceivably, if you get enough sun, you'll never have to actually plug this thing into charge. Too intoxicated. My ass, you're not too intoxicated. Your inhibition should be lowered when you're intoxicated, and you should be more than willing to come into the live stream. You don't have to stay. You're not expected to stay for the entire stream. Just come in and say a few words if you want.
It's almost like he hasn't seen me live stream for years and
I
years.
know Irving
Yeah.
Twin was the angry drunk Canadian forever, and that was his dealio. I
Now I'm
remember when
the
the
angry drunk
Airborne
French minority.
were disbanded in the great document shredding. See, again, these are things I don't know about, and I'd love for you to expand upon them.
Be
But
sober 2 weeks from now, and we'll do it again.
yeah, we'll do this again when everybody's February sober.
Yo, this guy says he's typing better than than he's speaking. It's like, okay, never mind. Don't. Yeah, next time. Next
Okay, so
time.
you really are drunk. Okay, I get it. But
Oh.
we got a few people watching. That's great. 12 people watching. Again, I'll make the announcement one more time. Anybody who wants to come into the live stream, there's a pinned comment at the top of the chat. Just click the link and you can come into the live stream and opine with us for a few minutes. And we might kick people out and bring new people in as the time goes. Know my limit, type within it, says Stan. There you go.
Okay, speaking of catchphrases, also I decided for just shits and giggles. Uh, used to make T-shirts every once in a while when I was younger, but I never went ahead and like printed hundreds of them and tried to sell them because that's just crazy.
Right.
Now there are these services online where you don't actually have to print T-shirts in advance. You can just put the design up, and when somebody wants one, they print it to order.
Yeah. Print on demand. Yeah.
So I had this idea. I was just, being my crotchety self and decided, yeah, you know what? There should be a T-shirt that says, "Dear Trudeau, consider made. Sincerely, Canada."
So you can go in the description of this live stream. There's a link to Irving Twin's Redbubble account. You can go there and check out his designs. I like your design. The one criticism I have of it, you put it on a white background instead of a clear background. So when it appears on a darker shirt, it appears as in a white box. Now that's fine, but I think you should embrace it and make it look like an envelope. So put some lines behind it so it looks like it's a letter because it starts with "Dear Prime Minister Justin
So
Trudeau."
at first, I was just using literally MS Paint, what used to be called MS Paint, is now just called Paint. And that way they're all uniform. Otherwise, I'd have to print in multiple colors so that the text would be in white to go on a black shirt and such, yada, yada,
Right.
yada. So I just put it on the white background and went,
Yeah.
Paint is fine. But I have started using GIMP to
Yep.
do transparencies so that I can also throw up the T-shirt that I actually made years ago and was wearing them. And people were like, "Oh, I love Abercrombie and Satan." Abercrombie, fuck you. So there's Abercrombie and Satan shirts available as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So check out his Redbubble store. I'm sure he'll be adding more designs at some point. But we have our first guest in tonight's Ammunation live stream, where you are the guest star. I believe this is Mr. Costin, is it not?
Hey there, how are you guys?
It's the first Terran Emperor, and he's got his milady fedora.
No, that's not a
Is that a
fedora.
fedora?
That's what the fucking witch hunter had, man. That shit is awesome.
This is Tilly, one of the Tilly hats. It's
Oh, okay. There you go.
The kind that a sailor might wear on the ocean. It's more of a summer hat.
Nice.
So,
Well, welcome, Mr. Costin. Thank you for joining tonight's Ammunation live stream. Who's evil, in your opinion?
do you want me to list all the people who are evil? All of them. I mean, that's quite a lot.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, everybody who has interacted with me and in any way, shape, or form out to 6 degrees, a la Kevin Bacon, is evil.
Other than Kevin Bacon.
No, a la Kevin Bacon.
Oh,
You know that.
6 degrees
of
of Kevin
course.
Bacon.
I
Yeah.
thought you were exempting Kevin Bacon because he truly is a genuinely good man. I really like him.
Yeah. I don't really mean it when I call everybody evil. Of course, I'm obviously being,
It's a joke.
silly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a joke. It's a silly humor, but
Yeah. See,
unless I'm
greetings,
talking about
wonderful, wonderful seeming, and wonderful adjacent people. That's his go-to.
unless I'm talking about Toronto, which is the source of all evil.
In
It kind of
Canada, for
is.
sure.
And honestly, I know it's in jest. I know it's in good fun, but sometimes I do feel the evil of this fucking hole just rubbing off on me. I think it's part of what makes me so angry.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably.
That's why
You've got the evil mustache going now, so you know.
Mm,
I was watching Deadwood. I don't know what to tell you.
I
yeah.
like it. I like it a lot. Oh, speaking of Deadwood and Wild West themed things, I yeah, Rob Schneider is amazing. He really knows it. He is, and I like when he's on Gutfeld because he's fucking hilarious. Um, Rob Schneider calls out Zionists versus Jews. Well, there is a difference. There is a difference, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's a different rabbit hole.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later at some
No,
point.
we won't.
Forget how much Irving has to drink tonight, or if Pox comes into the live stream. So this Wild West event I'm going to in March, right? At Ballahack in Virginia. I ordered a couple of union suits. You know what a union suit is? I think I explained it to you.
Long Johns.
You see, yeah, long one piece long johns with a butt flap.
Okay.
So I ordered a red one, and then I was looking on Amazon and I found they had like an old timey white, which was like an oatmeal type color. I'm like, oh, I got to get that because I got to do a costume change. I'll wear the red one day and the oatmeal one the next day, and I'm gonna have a good old time down there. I've decided that I know what my character's name is gonna be.
Mm.
John Long.
John Long.
John Long.
Yeah.
Pox, you're welcome to come in anytime you want, man.
The invite's pinned to the top of the YouTube chat, man.
It really is. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
come on in whenever you like, and we can turn this into a real hoot and a holler.
Greg really was that foolish.
That's right. Yeah.
See, now this actually, we discussed this, he and I did this. Costin, you remember? I think you might remember this. I did this years and years ago when I was blind drunk and we were still using Google Hangouts, but there was no control. With StreamYard, you can link in and it's entirely up to Craig to put you on site or just take you out. He's got that total control, where with Google Hangouts, it just became fucking a shit show. It was hilarious.
Yeah. I heard a lot of different stories like that.
Yeah, no, I like StreamYard. It's a really good tool, and I paid the extra bucks to let me brand it, like put my logo up there and add banners and do the countdown and stuff. I don't know why. Just maybe I got more money than brains, I guess. But
No, that's not hard.
Good problem to have.
so yeah, Costin. Now I know a little bit about you, but maybe you could unpack a little bit more about you. So for our viewers, you live in Stratford. You're a Canadian.
Yeah.
You live in Stratford.
Stratford, Ontario, the
in
socialist
Stratford,
part of the
Ontario?
county.
And what line of work are you in, Mr. Costin?
I'm on disability.
Oh,
I
okay.
used to be. I used to work in milk processing facility. The older guys used to would call it a creamery because we made butter, but butter is such a small part of what we make there, and it really is more of a factory these days than a creamery. Like, it's still a creamery, but
Yeah.
it's a factory.
It's a large scale operation.
Yeah, depending on what your definition of large is, of course, but yeah, it's a factory. Various milk products.
And what were you just like a factory staff, or were you working in the office, or were you
I was
milking
in the
cows?
no.
I'm
We
just
didn't.
joking.
We didn't. I had a few different positions, but basically, I was for most of my career, I was quote packer, and then I became a packaging operator. The difference between packer and packer operator is that the packer is a member of the crew. Like, I was just one of the peons.
Right.
Whereas when I became a packaging operator, I actually operated some of the packaging equipment. I had to set it up. I had to operate it during the run. I had to wash it up afterwards. I had to get all of the packaging in and out. You know, all that stuff.
Well, thank you for the good work you did.
Yeah.
You eventually going back there?
Uh, it's been 12 years. It's been since 2011, and I'm not back.
Okay. So
So
just curious. I didn't know
yeah,
what the extent of your disability. I don't want to pry,
no,
um,
yeah,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
thank you for the good work you've done. I enjoy myself some good milk.
yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
milk drinker.
yeah,
I'm not one of these crazy lactose intolerant people. So
yeah. Strangely,
you're lactose intolerant. That's why he drinks alcohol.
I miss it so much, man. Like every once in a while, I just want like a tall, cold glass of milk, and I know exactly what it's going to do to me. And
What does it make? Does it like just give you really gassy, or do you like double
I,
over in pain?
okay, so have you ever had like gas can be uncomfortable,
Yeah,
but have you ever had that kind of gas that you can't relieve? you know,
yeah.
that it feels like you are being stabbed.
Never been that
Yeah,
bad.
okay. It like yeah, it won't move. You can't get it out, and it just keeps building, and it's like somebody, yeah, has stuck something solid inside you and it's just twisting your insides. It's really
That's rough. I
yeah.
mean, because I love cheese, man. Like I'll put cheese on everything. I put cheese on fucking cereal if I could. It's
mm,
no, I'm a big fan of cheese. So if I was lactose intolerant, I think I would not be very happy.
I can have some in proportion. Like if there's cheese on pizza,
Yeah.
it's not gonna hurt me too badly. If there's extra cheese, I'm done. You might as well shoot me in the gut.
What about like American style cheese? Because that's barely cheese. Is that do you
I
go
don't
on
know because I don't like it, right? I mean, like, yeah, it goes on a burger, doesn't
Yes.
affect me, right?
mm.
Uh,
Pox said he sent some DMs to us. I didn't see.
yeah, so he's got a thing to take care of. He should be back later, and he'll jump in if he can.
Sounds good. All right, so maybe we move on. You have any thoughts on the C-21 minor victory? You've been following the C-21 legal
Uh,
journey at all? Are you a gun owner yourself, Mister Costin?
no, I'm not a gun owner. I'm not big into guns. I've only loosely been following the situation. Um, I I've had a bit of a over my lifetime. I've had a bit of a journey on the um, gun laws debate. So um, the factory that I worked at was in my hometown, little puny 3,500 people town. So there's a lot of a lot of small town people, a lot of farmers. One, because it's in a small town. Two, because of what they made. So a lot of people there. I might be going a little off topic, but there's a lot of people I knew.
That use
Um,
guns?
That need
yeah,
them, like it's a
yeah,
tool that you
Yeah, yeah,
have to
yeah,
have, right?
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so
Well, this
okay,
is the thing.
let me try
C-21.
and
Sorry, go ahead, Irving. You go.
I was
You
just gonna say let me try and boil it down with some simple yes or no questions.
Yeah.
You can pass if you want. Rifle ownership for adults, let's say not automatic, yes or no?
Yes.
Handgun ownership for adults, yes or no?
Yes.
Open carry?
No.
Okay.
Concealed carry. I would mandate. No. You laugh, but I would mandate concealed carry because as soon as people see that gun on the holster, it's a target that people will go after.
But if it's
No.
concealed carry, you have to think every bag that a
Yeah.
woman is carrying might have a gun in it.
right,
Every long coat could be concealing a gun, so you have to
right.
be careful as a criminal now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I actually saw something on social media about a guy who was he always open carried. He had a like a Glock or whatever
Yeah.
on a holster on his hip, and it was out all the time. And then he was at a Walmart one time, and someone tried to grab it from him,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I'm concealed carry now,
Yeah.
uh, going forward.
Yeah.
I'm not going to open carry anymore."
Yeah.
Like it's almost like if you open carry, it's kind of a statement. I was like, I'm exercising my rights. If you conceal carry, It's like you're aware of the danger that exists out there, and you've made the decision that you want to intervene if need be. Which I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The open carry thing, I understand it. If you want to walk around with a gun on your hip,
Yeah.
maybe in certain lines of work, it might make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe if you live
If
in a
you're,
certain area, it might make sense. Like if you're backpacking and you're out in like the deep, deep bush, if you're a surveyor for Canada, like if
yeah,
you go out and do like work in the wilderness, you can get a carry license for a handgun
yeah, that makes
because
sense.
the idea is you need it for self protection and self defense
Yeah.
if you come across a bear, right?
Yeah.
So and it's not conceivable for every surveyor to be carrying a high powered rifle every time they go into the woods.
I can
Whereas
imagine how
whereas a big
difficult.
big magnum on your hip is much more easy to manage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Stan Ultra's talking about open carry for cops. I mean,
yeah,
for me, the only people who should be open carry are cops, security guards, people. If you see a cop, you would expect him to have a gun, so he should open carry.
right.
But anyone else, tuck it away where people don't see it.
Yeah, just make sure it's readily available if you need to use it.
But
Yeah.
they always have to be wary of, geez, every single person might have a gun I just don't see.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why they say an armed society is a polite society, right?
And Stan
Yeah.
Ultra said concealed doesn't reveal your position. Now
Right.
he's military, so he's got that.
Yeah,
But also sometimes
you're just a regular everyday guy going to buy a newspaper
Yeah.
until shit happens, and then you can draw up on somebody, right? So
But I think combo is good, right? Because for every open carried person, there's a concealed carry person.
Yeah.
So you have like a show of, freedom force, and also you never know where the other positions you don't see are, right?
Yeah.
It's
No.
yeah,
balance.
I think somebody needs to do an updated Derringer, personally.
Derringer,
And
is that the two-shot little mini?
break out, yeah, it's like a gambler's gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
you have
that's the little gun I tie to my thigh when I'm doing sex work.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, the thing is, it's you have to really want, like, it's an exposed trigger, so it doesn't have a trigger guard on it typically.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it actually has a pretty hard pulse. You're not going to accidentally pull the trigger.
Yeah.
That
That would make me nervous.
Yeah, like I fired one, and
Yeah.
you really need to intend to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Plus, it's recessed so much that you have to like really press hard on it. So, yeah. An armed society will have tragedies, and an armed society will have 8 genocides. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is when it comes down to me with C-21 and the ordering council that happened, was it 2018, 2019?
Yeah.
Not too long.
It was shortly after the Nova Scotia tragedy, right?
Yeah.
The order in council, this is basically the government doing everything it can to disarm its citizens.
Yeah.
And they really, tipped their hand when they said, well, we're going to do this to hunting rifles and semi-automatic shotguns as well. Like, what? This isn't about keeping people safe. If it was about keeping people safe, you wouldn't be reducing minimum sentences for, violent offenders.
That pisses me off. Like if you want to keep people safe, arrest those people who are actually committing the gun crimes, and then keep them in jail. They're just contradicting themselves.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I've always been like open to the idea, and I'm not saying I endorse the idea, but I've been open to the idea with this three strike rule. So if you're convicted of a crime, right, breaking and entering, let's say, it's an indictable offense in Canada, but it's not terrible. Like you would get a couple of years, maybe you get 18 months, right? But if you then reoffend before receiving a pardon, because anyone can receive a pardon in Canada, you just have to, stay clean the requisite number of years and then apply for a pardon and you'll get it. If you reoffend before you've received your pardon, okay, strike two. And it doesn't have to be breaking and entering. It could be any other indictable offense.
Yeah.
If you commit 3 indictable offenses without receiving a pardon for any of them,
Yeah.
your time in prison should be extended to the maximum, which would be 25 years.
Yeah.
I would look. I would say maybe start at violent offenses.
But that's
Three
typically that's
indictable.
typically what indictable offenses are, right? Indictable offenses are ones that will cause harm to somebody or had the risk of causing harm to somebody. Like armed robbery is an indictable offense because there was a risk of somebody being harmed,
Sure,
even
but
if you never pulled the trigger.
so's burglary.
Right. But these,
Unarmed BNE where no one is there. It's still indictable, but I don't know if that guy should be spending his entire life in prison for 3 offenses, right? You know what I mean? Like,
well, he's
especially
obviously
if you
not a
start.
good burglar. Maybe he'd be better at making, license
Yeah,
plates or something.
yeah, no,
Um,
you're not wrong, but also the condemnation has to start because of where we are in particular
yeah,
with violent criminals who are shooting people in the streets and then being released either on bail of their
right,
own recognizance or
right.
after serving a very short prison sentence.
Well, see, this
Like,
is where the crown has leeway. So, for instance, in your case of burglary, right? We talk
Yeah.
about burglary being a nonviolent offense, and I would agree. If you just, you jimmy a lock and you get inside and you steal some jewelry, you haven't really hurt anybody. You've damaged a door. You've managed to
Mm.
make off with somebody's property.
Mm.
Fine, nobody was actually hurt, and it's considered an indictable offense. But then the crown prosecutor and the defense attorney can work out, well, look, this is his first offense, maybe we lower it to criminal trespass, or and criminal trespass is basically being somewhere you're not supposed to be and not leaving when you're advised to leave,
hmm.
right? And I think that's just a summary conviction. I don't know if there's any law tubers out there or people who are
Mm.
up on the law. I believe criminal trespass in Canada is just that.
But you're
uh,
saying our system wouldn't give them the initial strike in a lot of cases because of the nature of the crime.
because yeah, they
Okay.
would they would
All right.
they would they would plead it down, right? Especially if it was a first offense. um Stan's got a couple of things to say here.
Okay. And
I
wait,
got a
before we
pardon just
get too deep into Stan,
yeah,
I've been reading them. Years ago, we talked about this is pre-COVID too, getting out to the range and taking some footage shooting. When we do that, because we have to do that, Craig, we absolutely have to.
for sure.
We have to invite Stan because of some of this comment. So go ahead.
Okay, so Stan says I got a pardon just as COVID hit, and it effed up getting all my licenses back. That's messed up. So getting the pardon caused you to have an issue with getting your licenses back? That's weird. It took that 6 years and then some of being off my license to take care of my teenage kids and focus on my pistol skills. 6 years of weekly range time, biking back and forth to the range. Wow. Uh, Summary will not take your gun license. Only thing that is where someone is assaulted, etc. Yeah, an indictable offense, right? My pardon got there as COVID hit. Oh, okay, all right. So when you say it got there, you mean it got to the people who were going to rubber stamp it, or it got to you as COVID hit? Just curious about that.
And
Yeah,
then I might
my father advised me of
license
that
again.
of pardons. And you'll notice this if you ever apply for a job, there'll be something on the application. Have you ever been convicted of a indictable offense for which you have not received a pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you have, they want to know that. They want to know your criminal background, right? So, yeah, summary conviction could be something like careless driving, right? That's just here's a ticket,
Yeah.
reconviction. Yeah.
Same.
Oh yeah. So
So,
if you go up though, you'll see it's one that starts with almost 30 years combined.
oh, okay.
8 years of pistol advanced training.
Oh,
Yes, we have
nice.
to
Well, you
take
could really
video of
show me
that.
something because I'll be honest,
Yeah.
Stan, I am shitty with the pistol. I'm better with a fixed barrel like a revolver than I am with a semi-automatic, but my pistol skills are not that great. Overcame. Uh, just got a pardon. Oh, okay, yeah, I saw that one. But I adapted and overcame. Yeah, cool. Yeah, guns are cool. I haven't been to the range in ages, I'll be honest. You know what it is? I think it's since I got into airsoft, it's kind of filled need for me, or that
Mm.
that not need, but it's filled my desire, or it's sated my desire to shoot guns, because it's fun, it's safe, and I get exercise out of it. Going to the range to me is always kind of depressing because I'm typically going by myself. I'm going late at night, and I get out there and I shoot at some paper, and I'm never terribly satisfied with how I'm doing. But when I'm going out and playing airsoft, I know how well I'm doing because I'm actually hitting people, and they're going hit, and then they walk back to their spawn point. So yeah,
Oh,
at that point, why not just bullet to the brain?
yeah. Like this is the
That
conversation
would
I
be
want
really
to have.
depressing. Well, you mean you hear what he went through, and then think about what happens to guys who have kids and how their lives get totally fucked up because of, a false accusation by a former spouse. Like, men got it rough. I'm not gonna lie, men got it rough.
Is he not referring to our 3 strikes thing?
Uh,
Maybe.
oh, maybe. Are you talking about 3 strikes? Their talks? I'm not sure.
You might be talking about
Oh, Stan's ordeal.
sounds to me like he's talking about uh, like execution.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
reading into that. And Stan's thing there about every Canadian soldier is a rifleman first, right?
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
like the Marines. That's actually I'm not military, but I do love what was that HBO show called? Band of Brothers,
Oh yeah.
right? Where when they drop in Normandy, everything's gone to shit, and the lieutenant meets up with some young kid who says, "Sir, I lost my radio. I'm a radio man. What am I going to tell my captain?" He's like, "I would tell him that I'm a rifleman first,
Yeah.
right? And he's got a rifle, so you're good to go."
Is he talking about me?
You guys need to change the name of the show to the Masculine Jonah Hill and the Low Rent Ron Jeremy show.
No, I think actually you avoided all incrimination in this insult, Costin.
The Masculine Jonah Hill. Yeah, it's really an insult on Jonah Hill, not you.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I
don't
think
think
he's talking
Costin
about
looks like
you,
Jonah
Craig.
Hill at all. What are you talking about?
Craig, I think you're the masculine Jonah Hill.
I'm the masculine Jonah Hill.
No.
Okay.
Craig isn't masculine.
That's right. And I'm not. I don't look anything like Jonah Hill. So I don't
Well, a
understand.
little bit.
What? Fuck you. You look like Jonah Hill.
No, are you kidding me? You look like fucking Solomon Kane straight out of the comic books with that hat.
Really,
I love
that hat? Yeah, for
dude.
sure.
Fuck yeah.
It's all
Yeah, it
on
has
his
some of the
game.
greatest snipers in history. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
I've never heard that one before.
Solomon Kane. Oh, follow Razor Fist for some Solomon Kane.
Oh, he loves Solomon Kane. The
Mhm.
movie's actually pretty good.
It wasn't terrible. And
Yeah, I was actually quite impressed by the movie. I'm like, okay, I get this. This is pretty good. All
yeah,
right, I
and
think we
straight
should
up,
move off. Sorry, go ahead.
just right out of Warhammer, the Witch Hunters. They all
Yeah.
have that hat. That hat
Yeah.
is fucking slick because
Yeah.
it's not a bucket cap. It's not a trilby, and
No, it's
not.
almost like a Pilgrim's type hat.
Yeah, it's not a 10-gallon. It's this weird place that doesn't exist for anyone except the Witch Hunters.
C-Max says, I don't want to be in this anymore. Yeah, I mean, if Greater Ajax is going to insult everybody who comes into the stream, I can understand that, C-Mac. Shame
Good.
on you, Greater Ajax, insulting people in the stream.
No, good for you, Ajax. These insults are on point. Like this is I've never seen anything so accurate.
Rare Fist man is genius. Yeah, Razor Fist is cool. Did you see Razor Fist PC on Lincoln? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. There's been a couple of responses to it as well. So, and I haven't watched those yet, but I should because I don't want to say I'm a simp. I'm a fan of Razor Fist, so I tend to give him the benefit of the doubt when he talks about something with authority. I'm like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. So, I want C-Mac in this more now.
She should know that I will never insult a hot redheaded woman.
Well, you shouldn't. Shouldn't
No,
insult anybody, but least of all a hot redheaded woman.
no. I will speak honestly about our most evil Torontonian,
Who's
and you
that?
can't. The
Hit
ugly guy beside you.
Oh, okay, Irving. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I will. I will always speak honestly about him, and to do so, I've got to insult him.
Yeah, I mean,
25 years is basically a life sentence. Yeah, but that's what people get in Canada when they commit a murder, right? And they get convicted of a murder. And so maybe not 25 years, Pox. Maybe it'd be more, just something like uh, maybe double their what they would normally get for conviction for whatever crime it is they commit on their third strike. So if it's, they steal a car, like carjacking or the armed robbery or whatever the minimum or max sentence they would get double that. And I don't think it would ever amount to more than 25 years or 25 years or more.
I'd like to
It
see.
seems more human to just plug it.
I'd like to see for violent crimes, like clearly violent crimes. I'd like to see more sentences with no parole whatsoever. Real life sentences.
see, that's something we don't have in Canada, though. The
No.
That's
maximum
unfortunate.
sentence is 25 years. We don't even serve consecutive sentences anymore. For someone who murders 3 people doesn't get 75 years; they get 25.
Yeah, and I don't like that. Like if it's a violent crime, especially if you're killing 3, 4, 5 people, yeah, you stay in prison for the rest of your life. I know that's expensive, but I would rather do that than have that violent person out on the street. And I don't feel comfortable with execution in a civilized society.
Yeah,
In a civilized society.
I'm the same way on that, and actually, it turns out it's not more expensive. It's as expensive as housing a person for the 50 to 75 years, but it's far more expensive to give them appeal after appeal after appeal on a death sentence because you almost have unlimited appeals when you're facing your death. So they end up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars more per year in court costs than prison housing.
Yeah.
By going to these appeals. So it's
I was thinking more
in the
expensive.
US in the US they'll have, life sentence with possibility of parole after X number of years.
Yeah.
But the reality is if it's a truly heinous crime, they're never getting paroled. Because their parole hearing will come up after that set amount of time, and then they'll be denied because of the heinousness of their actions. You did know that there was a group that were with the U.S. colonists against the crown that were shut down in a tavern in Toronto. I did not know that. Excuse me, sorry for the yawn, folks. I did not know that.
They were probably called right-wing extremists and Nazis before there was such a
Misogynists
thing.
and racists. Yeah. That's right. Too many crown bootlickers in Upper Canada. Yeah. Kill 3, 4, or 5 people. I feel better with you in hell. If you could guarantee to me that somebody's going to be going to hell for that, then I'd be with you. But
no,
I don't know for sure there's a hell. So
this is what's really funny: is the atheist is arguing the sanctity of human life, and the fucking Baptist is like, you can burn, just kill them all.
What's your religious inclination there, Costin?
Unaffiliated Christian.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My man.
Yeah, unaffiliated Christian. I was affiliated with it as a kid, but I haven't been to church in 27 years. So
yeah, my mom and dad used to drag me to church when I was a kid. Stopped going when my dad decided he was going to stop going.
Yeah,
and I think around the age of 13, I started to have atheist leanings. It was when I was starting to get into mythology. Yeah. Started reading mythology, and I started reading, these gods were worshipped by, people in ancient Greece and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, wait, there's more than one God? And if there's more than one God, how do I know which one's right? And how do I know which one's the real God?
Yeah.
what's the difference between worshiping Zeus and worshiping Yahweh or Jehovah? So I'm like, okay, so if there's multiple gods and this is people's interpretation of, of, divine power. So I don't know that I can sign on to anything. Who's to say Poseidon wasn't real? Who's to say that Thor wasn't real, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, um,
Yeah, that's why I would never try to convince people to become a Christian. Uh, I
I
believe
think
in
they
God.
want to. I
I
think they
believe
want
in
to.
God on faith and faith alone, and I would never make that argument.
I'm gonna get him.
You're gonna turn. Here's the thing: if you're going to be converted to Christianity, you have to be willing to do it. Like you, it's like
I
it's like
know.
it's like quitting anything, right? It's like quitting anything. Like no one can force you to quit smoking. Just like no one can force you to become a Christian. The truth of it will become revealed to you at some point. This is what I've been led to believe, that at
Yeah.
some point you will have a revelation, and that will cause you to become a Christian.
It's
So far, I
fucking
haven't had that
amazing. It's fucking amazing that the atheist is saying all the things and it just hasn't like hit him yet.
Well, he's not saying he believes in God.
No.
He's saying that to believe in God, it'd have to be revealed to him, and it hasn't been.
right.
Right, but he also says all the things that are good and right with the world, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and what we should strive to be, and it's like that's not different from Jesus's message, bro. And
No, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not. But
It's
what does
gonna
that
click
tell you?
one
That
day.
a person who does not profess to believe it. Like, here's the thing. I'll be honest. I've talked about my uh, worldview or a religious irreligious position in the past. I used to be quite ardent about it, very, very vehemently opposed to religion. I used to say all of the mean tropes and memes about religion. Uh,
Secular humanism, atheism plus.
yeah, exactly. All of that stuff. Well, I was never in Atheism Plus. Actually, when Atheism Plus sort of got up there, when they started basically trying to make the atheist community very woke, I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm out.
You
Um,
realized they were a religion.
that's part of it. But
Yeah.
you know what really turned it around for me? Jordan B. Peterson. Jordan B. Peterson showed me that you can behave and act as though you're Christian and still profess uh, and, and still say you don't believe in the supernatural
Yeah.
elements of the Bible. He couched it for me in a what did he call it? A meta narrative or a
Mhm.
mythological substrate, and to me that makes infinitely more sense. In that the religious tales, the story of the Bible, and I'm saying primarily the Bible because
Sure.
it's the most prominent, I guess,
Mhm.
uh, are the underpinning of all the things that are good in culture. It doesn't make it true, but in a sense, it doesn't need to be literally true in order for it to be effective and good.
Sorry. What
So
this is from a movie. This is the search for fact, not truth,
right,
that aren't necessarily the same thing.
right,
And just because it's a story and it's factually bullshit doesn't mean that you can't draw some sort of meaning or inspiration to affect your life and your moving forwards with your real world.
right.
You don't have to believe every part of it is absolutely 100% true and factual
Yeah,
to accept the reality of this is a good message
right.
and I can behave as if that message is real
Well,
without
that's
the factual events occurring.
yeah. That's what Peterson would say about Sam Harris. He says he's not a Christian, but he sure acts like one. Right, he behaves as a Christian, except in the times when
Except that
he.
he would rather see Hunter Biden and
That's
Joe
right. Yeah.
Biden having fucking children tied up in their basements
Well,
and let Trump be president. So
right.
that went out the window there for me.
Yeah. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect Christian either, right?
Sure,
Um,
sure.
but
And
no,
technically,
what I'm
all
saying is like
Christians
he
by
obeys.
definition are imperfect.
Right. He obeys all the laws that have been set out by you know the the Judeo-Christian tradition,
Yeah.
and he does so within the context of our culture being informed by the Judeo-Christian tradition. So he's in effect a Christian, even if he professes no belief. I'm in that sense as well, right? Except that I'll take it one step further. I'll say the mythological substrate is important. The meta narrative is what matters, and the truth of the meta narrative has nothing or anything to do with the tangible truth of a supernatural being from on
Sure.
high setting out the rules and the laws for people. It doesn't matter if that is real or not. The efficacy and the value of that meta narrative is what keeps things going, is what makes things good, so to speak. So,
Interestingly, if you want to slide over to my banner,
oh,
we can get right into
Irving's oddities.
yeah.
All right, let's do it.
So we did some oddities on my channel last week. This is an oddity that didn't come up organically. Strangely, here we are. Tradition, including religious tradition that passes down for generations, hundreds, sometimes thousands of years. Okay. There's a weird thing that basically all people in the Western world do today, whether or not they're Christian, but they do it. If you're stopping by somebody's home, right, they invite you there. What's a thing you might do in the afternoon? You might grab coffee and donuts. Be like, oh, they invited me to their home. They're going to, welcome me. And I'm going to bring a little thing. They're going to host. They're going to do a whole lot of work. Here's some coffee and donuts. If it's the evening for a dinner, you might bring a bottle of something and maybe fancier pastries. All right. Even if it's just the boys, we're not going out tonight. We're shacking up on a Saturday. We're gonna fucking play some Modern Warfare in the basement. You'll bring beer and chips, 6-pack chips. Everybody brings the 6-packs and chips. Everybody's snacking. Everybody's drinking. Oh shit! What happened?
Sorry, I made a mistake. That's all.
All right. 2,000 years ago, a man condemned to death said, what should you do in memory of me? Here, take this, all of you, and eat it. Okay, this is my body. Take this, all of you, and drink it. This is my blood. He literally meant, I'm a fucking carpenter. Every bit of food and every bit of wine that I serve you literally comes out of my blood, sweat, and tears. This is my flesh. It cost me my body to provide for you. Okay. And we all do this. We all share bread and wine in one form or another. Every one of us, a tradition that's handed down thousands of years. And the oddity is some of those religious traditions that persist thousands of years later. Why were they not like stopped the very first fucking day? Guy, what the fuck are you doing? Yo, I gotta cut this baby's penis. What? What the fuck are you talking? No, gotta cut this baby's penis a little bit. Are you out of your fucking mind? And then suck it. I gotta suck the skin out. What? What the fuck you talking? God said, cut the baby penis and suck it. And now he said, God said, suck all the baby's penises. How the fuck did that one get through? All right. Not thousands of years. How was that not on day one? This guy saying this, not just fucking clocked in the head with a ginormous rock. How did that make it 6,000 years later? All right. Sharing bread and wine. I understand that. Where the fuck did this one? How did this survive day one? Honestly.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you my interpretation of that. Okay, so the courtesy of bringing something to someone's home when they invite you, it probably predates Christianity. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was it was basically like you bring something to show that to show a stranger that you want to be a potential friend, or at the very least, you have them enough respect for them to honor them when you're visiting their house. Okay, the sucking of the cutting of the baby's foreskin and sucking the penis by a mohel in
It's
what's known
hygienic. God
in what's,
said.
in what's known as a bris. My guess is that tradition probably started out of a false sense of hygiene on the part of a group of people who were wandering the desert for generations
Got to
and
get the
found
sand
that,
off.
hey, I took a piss last night and now I can't piss. My dick hurts because you got some dust in it or you got some dirt in it and you're not cleaning yourself regularly. So, you know what? Let's just cut the thing off. You'll do it when they're a baby, it'll heal up, and then they won't have to worry about this while they're growing up wandering through the desert because we're living in shit right now because it's a desert. We don't have nice houses. We're living in tents. We're, sleeping with the fucking animals. We're going to get dirty for hygiene purposes. Let's just cut the foreskin off of people's dicks. And not only that, it'll keep them from jerking off because nothing disturbs my sleep more in that fucking tent than hearing the kid in the other tent jerking off at night. So that's why they did it.
Yep. No. Because if I was there, day one, some guy is saying, "No, we got to do
Here's
this.
what God says you got to do.
We got it. God says we got to do
There's
it
a
to all the
special
babies."
man. He's
I'd
called a
be like, you know
royal.
what? God told me I got to smash your head in with a rock. God said. That's and Stan.
It says you lost me a biting baby peni. Seriously, you need help. I've got a whole shit talk.
I'm not
on
the
this
one
LOL.
doing it. Who needs help here?
Shtick. Oh, you've got a whole shtick on this. Okay.
No thanks. I'm out. Hashtag no thanks. I'm out. Stan, I'm putting that on a t-shirt. You link up with me. I'm going to give you 50% of every t-shirt I sell.
Yeah. Some religious traditions don't really make a lot of sense. I mean, speaking of religious traditions, is there anything more to the oddity you want to share?
No, that was literally it. Like that was that
literally
one
it.
oddity.
Austin,
Like
you have any
one religious tradition makes its way down thousands of years, and another one was not stopped by a rock to the head immediately on day one. I don't get it. I don't get it.
All right. Do you have anything to say on it, Costin?
Don't mutilate babies' dicks.
It's a good call.
Yeah.
We're gonna add our next guest to the stream. I think this is CMAC. Hello,
CMAC.
Welcome to the stream.
CMAC.
Costin's
Walking
in his
the
glory.
plaid. Can you hear us? You got us?
Can you hear us? I can't hear you.
Well, she hasn't moved her lips, so
she hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah.
Hi, CMAC. You're live.
I see you.
You're in the stream, CMAC. Say something. Or just stand there looking good. It's fine.
That's fine by me. That's what women are for, anyway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not the only thing they're for, but it's one of the primary things.
Okay, she chose to mute. Okay, that's fine. You can stay muted. That's cool.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can only hear you from my computer. So I'm going to mute myself a lot.
Okay. We can hear you now. We can hear you now. That's cool. Welcome to the stream.
Hello. That's nice.
Any thoughts on Irving's point of view?
No, we're not allowed. We're not allowed to talk about this. But that's weird.
All right. Okay. Ajax said no.
That shouldn't have lasted 6,000 years. It shouldn't have lasted a day.
That means so much.
Now, if we're talking about,
we make sandwiches.
Yeah.
Oh, she's delayed. She's delayed. So she heard Costin's comment about the looking good, and she responded with making Caesar sandwiches. Okay. Yeah, you're only gonna hear it on a delay then, CMAC. That's okay though.
Yeah.
No.
She says in chat that her mic ain't working, but that's okay. Yeah.
Stan says, my next card to play is I was a Knights Templar in a past life who is now a crippled lesbian female.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's referring to. Who is black?
So what you're saying, Stan, is that I should not murder you on any other day except for the 13th of the month on a Friday.
Yeah.
I'm only allowed to murder you on the Friday the 13th.
Technically in October, if you want to be very specific.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what that reference is either.
Oh, the Catholic Church got first the King of France and then the Pope got pissed off with the Templars. So the Pope issued an order along with the King of France that the Templars would be murdered, and they sent all these letters out to be acted upon on the 13th. So on Friday the 13th.
13th of October, 1066, if I'm not mistaken. And the Templars they had a ton of gold. They were basically the first international banking system. And they had grown so powerful, but they'd also grown thin. There was basically 2 Templars per area where they had a bank. And between the Pope and the King of France.
Was that the Battle of Hastings, 1066?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But that's why in the Star Wars movies there was Order 66 to murder all the Jedi, because it's a play on 1066, and so the secret
I
orders
did not
were
catch
handed
that.
out.
Oh, good
Yeah,
call.
and nobody knew, right? So they opened their orders and they're like, oh, just murder these 2 Templar guys that are here. Okay. And they didn't know it was coordinated. But it was October the 13th on a Friday, 1066. And so the saying is Friday the 13th, unlucky for some.
Yeah. It's one of the supposed origins of Unlucky Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
There's a few others, but that's one of them.
Oh, that's interesting to know. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're going to move on from your oddities, Irving. It was a good little discussion. I appreciated it. Let's move on to Eliza
baby penis.
Baby penis. I have only recently become aware of this person, a Miss Eliza Blue.
Yeah,
who's apparently all up on the social media right now for things she said or didn't say. I have no idea. Apparently, there's some YouTube drama between Jeremy at the Quartering and Tim Pool. Like Tim Pool blocked him on Twitter for some reason. What the hell's going on? Does anybody know what's going on with this and why it's dominating my YouTube feed?
There was a whole bunch of stuff about human trafficking and CP stuff going about on Twitter, unfettered. Right. YouTube had that weird ass fucking what do they call it? Elsagate? Weird ass fucking child porn, or it's not child porn, but it's porn that's geared towards fucking children and shit. And everyone was upset. And suddenly there's all these people talking about the human trafficking, and it's actually real. And Eliza Blue comes out of nowhere and talks about how she was human trafficked and she's a survivor of human trafficking and blah, 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 blah. And okay, sure. Yeah. Let's hear a voice and then it turns out that's not what she is. She's actually just some e-thought, and she's doing that. Like, World Star Hip Hop is not really human trafficking as far as I know. And then this is the thing that I had heard it previously a little bit, and I was like, okay, I was basically dismissing her outright. And then you bring her up again, and the thing you had told me was she was arguing this weird thing about how each individual young teen might be able to decide for themselves to have sex with adults because they mature at different rates, which is probably true, but no one wants to look at the nuance or whatever. And sure, but it basically always sounds like you're just saying, for like, guys like me should be able to sleep with 13-year-old girls if the girl's mature. And it's like, yeah, no, that's not an argument you should be making, Eliza Blue. Also,
No.
apparently you were never properly human trafficked. So she just tried to steal clout on the backs of actual victims of human trafficking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where I am, and I don't need to actually look deeper into it because she has not added anything significant to the conversation at this point.
No, and you know what? She's a mid at best. Like she's not even that hot.
She's got a thing about her, right? Not gonna lie. On the other hand, if you're just fucking clout chasing to shake your ass more on the backs of people who have actually suffered, well, shit, no, honey, you're not doing anyone any favors.
No.
Like, Jesus Christ.
I saw, you know, the YouTuber Undoomed.
Yes, I love him.
I haven't watched him in ages, but
great voice.
He showed up in my feed because he
Only
did a
guy
rebuff.
on YouTube with a better voice than me.
He did a rebuff of her. And I guess he showed footage of her on a live stream with two other blokes who were basically simping for her the entire time, in which she, you know, she espoused this, you know, basically cultural or moral relativism and the idea that children should be able to consent with, you know, approval from a group of adults, like a council. And I'm listening to this, I'm like, so you're talking Pakistan. So you think like, the world should be Pakistan? Because there's places in Pakistan where girls are deflowered by a holy man at the age of whatever, and it's supposed to be some sort of religious tradition, and basically they're being victimized under the auspices of, well, this is our culture. And she's saying, well, yes, you know, children should be able to, if they want to have sex with an adult and their parents say it's okay and the council says she's mature enough and the person who wants to have sex with her has no ill intention. He already has ill intention by expressing he wants to have sex with a child.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and I'm like, and think about it, really, it's a 12 or 13-year-old girl. And she says, yeah, I want to have sex with this dude. Does she, or do her parents want her to? Because there's going to be some sort of arrangement being made. No, you're essentially trying to make it so that people can pimp out their kids and it be socially accepted. So as far as I'm concerned, she's advocating on behalf of MAPS, and she can go fuck herself. So, yeah.
I want you.
Go ahead, Costin.
I want you to think about the half age plus 7 rule. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I think it makes perfect.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it works almost down to just about any
14. At 14, half your age is 7 plus 7 is 14.
Right.
At 18, when you're a legal adult, half your age is 9 plus 7 is 16. I mean, I know we consider 18 to be an adult, but if you're 18, 16, okay, whatever.
Well, you're taking into consideration that these people, you know, they met in high school, they met in a similar social surrounding, and they're dating.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to make, if you're and I was saying this to Irving earlier, if you're an 18-year-old, society, our laws have basically said, okay, you're legally an adult now. That means you have certain rights afforded to you, but it also means it comes with certain responsibilities. And while you may be legally or morally justified in wanting to get with this 16-year-old girl, think about it. Do you really think that that's a mature, responsible thing to do? Or would it be more mature and responsible to wait until she's 18 and you're 20?
That's my point. Like, once you get to an adult, there's not that many underage children that can be justified. Like 20, half your age, plus 17.
Yeah.
This is gross.
And you know what? I just think that if you're 20, you're better off just finding an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old. You'll be happier anyway.
Yeah. You guys are probably not wrong for the most part. But before we went live, we were talking about this. I was making some really crude jokes, and I think I've had just enough to drink to share them now. Right?
Do it, man.
Like, I think part of it is the concept of high school, where you're going to have seniors that are 18 years old, and you're going to have, like myself, a December-born Niner who's 13, right? So 18 years old in high school, 13 years old in high school kids dating each other, that's not exactly out of the question.
It's
So,
not. But
yeah,
it's a little creepy.
right. So Eliza Blue went to this whole thing about having a council that 13-year-old should be able to fucking, with council approval, sleep with guys who are my age. No. I don't think that's what they're talking about. I think they're talking about people in the same school dating. And, 18-year-old less mature than others and a 13-year-old who's more mature than others, if they date, is that a fucking crime? I don't actually know. But also, the crude joke I was making was, Craig, what about the slutty 13-year-old? Like,
Well,
what all they want to do is suck your balls, Craig.
they have daddy issues, okay? They have daddy issues.
Yeah.
And they need counseling.
That's somebody else's fault. That's not the fault of the 18-year-old who's a senior in
No,
high
but
school.
as an 18-year-old, you are now an adult. You should have the,
you're talking about a problem with society at this point.
No.
I'm going to disagree with both of you. Craig, I don't care if the 18-year-old is legally an adult. At that age, you're in grade 12. The 13-year-old is in grade 9. That is still a big maturity gap.
Yeah, for sure.
That is still, no, it's gross.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying the 18-year-old being an adult automatically makes them capable of doing anything that any other adult can do. What I'm saying is, when you are an adult, you have certain expectations put upon you. And the expectation is that you rein in your hormones. And I mean, here's the thing. There were guys when I was in high school who were seniors dating grade 10s, and every one of their friends ribbed them for it.
Yeah.
Because,
exactly,
dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? You're going to graduate next year. She got 2-3 more years. Back when I went to school, we went to grade 13.
Yeah.
So,
it's the maturity difference.
It's the maturity difference. Also, you can't go out on dates with her with the other people because you're going to go to drinking parties. And if you take her to a drinking party, then you're in trouble because you're going to bring her home drunk and their dad's going to come down on you. And next, you know, he's going to have you charged with statutory rape.
Yeah.
So that's why laws like statutory rape exist because, one, girls can be victimized in the sense that they are dog or gaslit into thinking that this is fine. And second, sometimes parents are unaware that their daughter is dating someone in high school who's 6 years her senior. So,
yeah, that 6 years in high school, if you're in secondary or elementary school, that's a big difference in maturity level.
Sure.
At that age, it should not happen.
Now, let's take the half your age plus 7 rule. So, okay, I'm 52.
Yeah.
So half my age is 26. So add 7 to that, so I could date a 33-year-old woman. Is that right? Am I adding the right?
Yeah.
That would be not inappropriate.
No. It'd look a little weird.
Yeah, you might have.
Because I don't look like your typical 52-year-old. I can probably pass for younger than
52. Yeah. That's different from a 19-year-old dating a 13-year-old.
Right.
It would be weird because you would have different life experiences.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have no problem with it.
Yeah.
19 and 13 again.
I'd have a problem with 19 and 13. I'd have a problem with 19
I mean, yeah, like it's not right on the face of it, but that is somewhere where you might actually find exceptions, right? Like, I don't know about you, I was retarded at 19, right? And there were probably a lot of 13-year-old girls that were smarter than me at the time. Not trying to justify it, just throwing it out there that look,
I
look,
think it's a
a
bad. I
hundred
think
years
it's a
ago,
bad
that
path
was
you're going.
beyond
You would
normal.
go down. That's all. I think it's a bad path for any man or
It's
any
not a path
person
we
who's.
should be taking at this point. On the other hand, does someone need to go to prison at 19 and 13? Like my age and 13? Yeah, no, throw me in fucking prison. Like, are you out of your fucking mind?
19 and 13, there should be consequences for the 19-year-old. Maybe not as severe as a man your age dating a 13-year-old. But 19 and 13, still consequences. 19 and 17, 18, 16.
Incels who are thirsty as fuck and meet a 15-year-old at a frat party.
Yeah. No, seriously.
She said if she says she's 19 or 20, she is lying. Yeah, it very well could be. I mean, I never used fake ID to get into a bar when I was a teenager. We found somebody to buy us alcohol and we drank in like the ravine. We never went to bars. There were girls who did though.
Yeah.
Well, things are different now.
I worked a lot of frat parties at 19 as security. I was in the army for 2 years at that point. CMAX says that means I can go shark a cute 27-year-old. Absolutely, yeah. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
So wait, now I'm going to do the math to find out how old CMAC is.
Subtract 7 is 20.
40.
Double that is 40.
She's 40. Okay, so CMAC's 40.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
But here's the oh my god.
But does that qualify you as being a cougar? 4-year-old going after 27? Yeah, I guess technically you'd be a cougar in that sense.
No. In that situation, she's a bobcat.
Why? What's a cougar then?
She's age appropriate.
Oh, I see. If she were
inappropriate, you're a cougar.
You're
so
a cougar.
If she's going after 19, 20, 21, that's cougar. Bobcat is just like a guy who's younger but properly mature, right? Right. What cougar means is she's literally trying to go after boys who are technically men in the technical sense, but they have no experience and they're basically just prey.
I remember a few years back when my wife would turn 36 or was turning 36. I said, "You turn 36, I'm trading you in for two 18-year-olds." And so now it's a joke, right? When I had my birthday, I turned 52. She's like, "Oh, so I can go trade you in for two 26-year-olds?" I'm like, "I guess, yeah, sure."
Good luck.
If you want. Yeah. So basically what it comes down to, I think your assessment of Eliza Blue, and I think my impression of her based on what I saw on Undoom's video is probably correct. And for whatever reason, Tim Pool has decided this is a hill he wants to die on. My guess is that because I guess he's coming to her defense like constantly, and my understanding is she sent out a guy to go interview her and do like a deep dive biographical biography interview of her.
Sure.
And so, and my understanding is that this, I think his name's Cashman, last name's Cashman, was doing the interview. I guess he was simping for her pretty hard. So the understanding is that the interview is not going to be unbiased. It's going to be very biased. So maybe they're editing it now and it's going to show her in a positive light. And they're like, can't take this negative press from guys like the Quartering and other people. So
here's what I have taken from it. She came out talking about, I'm a victim of human trafficking. And then suddenly her ass on World Star Hip Hop is all over the place. And she's talking about 12 and 13-year-olds maybe are more mature than you think they are and could have sex with Craig or Irving or Constant if a council decides it. Hold on. You just muddied the waters. You have muddied your own waters.
That's creepy.
And like you you're no longer standing for anything, and suddenly all I think is, you just want views.
And she calls herself an ANCAP too, and I'm like, I don't think you're an ANCAP.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we all want views, right? We all, everyone that does this wants some clout. Irving PI, yeah, thank you. It's not my investigative skills, it's my mustache.
That's right.
Thanks, Six. Hello, good to see you. But she muddied her own waters, did not go after truth or justice or nothing. Suddenly, it's like, oh no, all you want is clout.
Yeah,
that's her problem.
I don't think
I don't care what happened to you now.
I think she's opining. I think she's opining on things that are very controversial, and she's not very sophisticated in her thinking.
That doesn't even matter. I opine on controversial things, and I'm not always as eloquent as I should be. The problem is she claimed she was a thing, and then suddenly it's just dirt in the water.
Yeah.
All right. I've told you. I've told everyone. All I am is dirt in the water, and I have opinions. And that's why I have no viewers. Right? Like
no, the reason you have no viewers, Irving, is because you don't put out content again. No, like I made a video just recently, didn't I? Did I just make a video recently?
Did, yeah.
What was it about? I don't remember.
But my point is, I'd love some clout. I'd love some viewership. You know what I'm not going to do? Make shit up and lie and twist and fucking like market it as something that it isn't. And guess what, Eliza? Suddenly, we all know you're not what you're claiming you are. And that's why you're losing that credibility. Yep. I don't have credibility. I have no credibility to lose. Watch me anyway. It's funny. Like, that's where I am. And that's why I'm different from what she is.
There you go.
Makes sense? Right?
That's why we're better people.
No.
Liza Blue, we're better than you.
We're not better people. We're just people. But you know what she is? A fucking liar. All right?
And a parasite.
Hey, look. I've told lies. I've done bad things. Okay? Sometimes I don't want to share it. I'm ashamed. But you know what I'm not going to do? Is tell you a lie trying to get more views. I'm just going to spew my opinion. You don't like it? Report me. You like it? Subscribe. Right? Hit the like button. But I'm not going to try and build myself up into something that isn't there.
I hear you.
And she did that, and that's why it's all falling apart for her.
I don't really have much to say about this because all my information comes from all these streamers, Ranty Monkey and all that. So
no, and like I watched some of her stuff on when she was a guest on Tim Pool, and some of the things she said at the time made a bunch of sense, and you don't discount that because she herself is this thing now, and we know what she's up to. Some of the things she said made sense.
This is for the chat because they're talking about the 6 Afraid of 7. Pox will appreciate that. Pox will. I saw that years ago on 4chan, and I fucking howled when I saw it. Because I'm not afraid of racist jokes. Because they're just jokes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we might do it a little early tonight. No one tells jokes anymore. We've got another topic to get to, but I want to tell this one anyway. Okay. How can you tell when an elephant has been in your kitchen?
How can you tell when an elephant has been in your kitchen? I don't know, Craig. How can you tell when an elephant has been in your kitchen?
It's left footprints in the butter. That's an old joke, but I wanted to talk about it because I told it in a group chat with some friends of mine. And like, I don't get it. And I'm like, it's absurdist humor.
Yes.
And the idea is you set something up in someone's mind. You think about something large like an elephant being in your kitchen, and you immediately imagine what kind of damage would an elephant do in my kitchen. So it forces you to have an image in your head. And then the punchline takes that all away and says it made the minimal amount of impact on your kitchen, so much so that you only see it in footprints in the butter. Therein lies the humor. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thoughts? I have nothing to say.
Yeah, no, I really don't. No, let's get back to
Eliza Blue?
banging minors. Yeah.
No.
Look.
It's less controversial than Fox toxic takes. Fox toxic takes.
Oh God, yeah. Look. There's some new weird thing that is going on the interwebs about half your age plus 7 might actually also somehow be pedophilia, or at the very least misogyny, taking advantage of younger women. All right.
Who says it only goes one way?
No,
Yeah.
no, it probably doesn't, except that the feminist, crazy ass woke people will just go after men, right?
I believe that it happens enough for there to be exceptions, right? It doesn't happen very often, but there will be exceptions.
But I mean, half your age plus 7. I'm 40 something.
Yeah.
Right? Half my age plus 7 is 27 for now. Right? Like CMAC. Asking, can we do this? Is that cool? Okay, apparently it is. But there are people that are saying if you're like 30, late 30s or 40, and you start seeing someone who's 25 or younger, that's the same as if you were 18 and dating a 10-year-old. It's like, wait, what? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, I get it. When I was 33 and this 18-year-old girl was totally into me, I may well have been taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
But totally legal. And you know what? I literally wasn't. Like, she was literally trying to manipulate me to all kinds of bullshit. It's a different story entirely. She was not unaware of what was happening, is my point, at 18. Okay. But 25? That's somehow not an adult that can make those decisions and have that experience and reason to date someone who's now my age or Costin's age or Craig's age? Are you what?
I know exactly why. And you probably know why instinctively as well. Women, as they get older and they realize their value is fading, because when it comes right down to it, the greatest value that a woman has is her youth and beauty. And as they get older, they become insanely jealous and angry about men who are attracted to women who are younger and more beautiful.
That's the simple explanation, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think that is the explanation. And I don't mean to disparage women as they age. I know we've got women in the chat, but the fact of the matter is, biologically speaking, women exist the way they are to attract the male gaze. So if you're calling the male gaze toxic, or you don't want to be gazed at, either you've internalized your misandry, or you're you have no self-worth and you think that you're not worthy of the male gaze, or you're upset that you're not being gazed upon. So,
which has come out as part of the problem for the older feminists now.
Yeah.
Now that they're 45 and have no children, men their age and who are successful don't look at them. It's like,
No.
well, yeah.
Yeah, it's because you rode the cock carousel until you were in your 30s, and now you've lost all your value. If you just got with that nice guy right out of high school who treated you well, but
Jesus Christ, like
who
Rose
was
and
working at Wendy's and wasn't making much money, but now he owns 3 Wendy's franchises.
like Rose and Ajax. Rose, good to see you. It's been a while. Oh man, Rose and
Rose.
Ajax showing up in the chat.
Here's another scenario. Celine Dion.
He's talking about you there, Twin.
Celine Dion,
Yeah.
born in 1968.
Yeah.
Her husband was born in 1942.
Okay.
He was her manager when she was 12.
Okay. That's a little sus.
Okay. Now,
he straight up groomed her the whole time, made her his whole career. Was like, now that you're an adult, you owe me, and I'm taking advantage. Are you fucking nuts? Like,
now supposedly they parted ways for a bit, and then got together back again when she was an adult. But I don't know if you were aware of their relationship or not. But
no,
did you not find that creepy? Do you not find that
it's
creepy?
kind of sus. How you as an adult, how you as an older adult look at a young woman, knowing that you knew her when she was a child,
Now,
and then say, "I'm
yeah.
attracted to you now." Well, how long were you actually attracted to her when she was younger too?
Now,
but on the other hand, if he didn't do anything when she was a child and they parted ways and then got back together later, and maybe he's 20 years older than her, but she's 20 something and he's 40 something. If she's into it, what's the fucking problem?
None of my business.
Like,
you know what? Have at it. Knock yourself out. It's suspicious, is all I'm saying. Right?
It is suspicious. Like, I want to be clear. I'm not actually making any accusations, but their family kept that relationship. Like when they got together when she was an adult, her family kept that quiet for a few years.
Well, that's the same with Macron, right? Macron is married to a former teacher.
Yeah, his former teacher.
His former teacher. Yeah, someone who taught him when he was a youngster.
He was probably getting his balls gargled when he was 15.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know if anything untoward actually did happen. I want to be clear about that because no one does know that. But
agreed,
C-Mac. Actually, when you were in the stream, I was looking at him like, she kind of looks like the redheaded libertarian, whatever her name is. You know, the
Josie something. I think
Josie something. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of have that redheaded libertarian look going on. They keep getting fat, dyeing their hair blue. Well, that's the warning sign, right? Well, nature has these warning signs out there for us. Bright colored plumage. It's a danger. Keep away.
Hey, I got fat, but I didn't dye my hair blue.
No,
See,
if you did let it grow out and you got the right hat to fucking frame it like a fucking champ. Holy shit.
If you did that, though, Costin, you would get the oppression bucks being a disabled trans lesbian.
Yeah. Huh.
Totally did.
Holy shit. And in Canada, all you have to do is say it, and it's true. You get more money.
Yeah.
Go for it. Do it.
Yeah. They probably have special disability trans lesbian books.
Yeah. I'd be able to use the women's washroom. I could follow C-Mac into the women's room.
Just as a compliment. There's
you know how I said before about women should appreciate the male gaze? There are certain male gaze that no woman will appreciate. And
that's why I would go beyond
dressing up like a woman
and
going into the washroom with them.
That's why I would go beyond in C-Mac's case. It's probably a good thing that we live in completely different cities.
Quite a ways away.
Yeah.
Probably.
Just probably?
What's with this fucking cold weather we've been having, Irving? I don't like it.
Yeah, no, it's over now. It seems.
It's coming back. It's going up above 0 this week out here.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
All
Because
right,
I didn't shovel.
yeah, it'll all melt. Don't worry. All right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go open up Hawk's
Probably.
toxic tweets, toxic takes.
No, yeah, he was just showing us some good old Terry extensions.
Yeah.
That's his name, right? Terry Davis.
Terry Davis.
Yeah,
I don't know who that is.
he was that. Oh, he's gone now. He's like literally dead. Terrible. Who was he was the guy who Fox toxic takes. Oh man.
I'm gonna present a few images. People don't get offended or get offended and just live with it.
Terry was the guy who came up with the when we all look at the 4chan or like, hey Lois, I'm a gender now. When we all go on the 4chan and we're like, yeah, not today, CIA.
That's right.
All thanks to Terry,
Yeah.
right? Who pointed out that they glow in the dark.
Yeah, you're glowy. All right,
Right,
there's
but
there's
if you
another
remember
one.
the original terminology.
Where's the other ones? There's some other ones here that were pretty good. Let me see if I can find them here. I couldn't quite make this one out. Oh yeah. Okay, so I want to see this. Where is this one?
Oh God.
Fuck, that's harsh. If he would just quit resisting, they'd stop beating him.
Which I don't recognize the scene.
That's from that Mel Gibson Christ movie.
Oh, okay.
They got Christ like flayed and beaten to shit.
Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, Passion of the Christ. Yeah, that's it. All right, there's another one here that I wanted to share. One moment. Oh, no, that's not it. One sec. It's in response to something else. One sec here. One sec. So I am not familiar with this game, Necromorph, but apparently, well, I'll read it out.
Yeah.
So this was on, I guess it was the Reddit or.
No, that's on Steam.
Oh, that's on Steam. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this was posted on Steam regarding a game called Necromorph, an unofficial PSA in regards to a new slang, necromorph. Because phobic people like to ruin everything, there's a very disturbing trend that has spawned in regards to this game. To make it short, fascists were so triggered by the changes to the bathroom signs. I guess they made bathroom sign changes in this game, Necromorph, that they started to appropriate the word necromorph as a slang for trans people. There's a link to an image, but this is just a screen cap that Pox sent. This is becoming prevalent on the Chan websites, of course it is, as well. The LGBTQ gaming community I'm in has been keeping tabs on the abuse of the word necromorph and how quickly it's picking up. This is an alert to all people against hate. Keep an eye on how the word necromorph is being used. If it seems suspicious, please report them for hate speech and or harassment. If it's someone that you know, please tell them that they need to watch how they use this word because it could actually be accelerating and contributing to hate. Keep hate out of the game and keep people from injecting hate into the game. Hate has no home in the gaming community. Well, you just haven't been gaming long enough. Oh, I missed it. One sec here. So the response was probably found on 4chan, which I thought was fucking hilarious when I saw it.
Of course it is.
Urinate on a skeleton. Oh, fuck. You know what? These goddamn necromorphs. They're so damn funny. And then there was this one. I don't know what this is. 90% of INT people INT is people with proxies role playing as other countries. What's INT? Oh, international flags. Okay. Prove that you're from your country. Anonymous has the Swedish flag, and there's blood all over it, and it's Arabic. That reminds me of a joke from the Family Guy, where they're looking at like this shop that's selling flags from different countries around the world, and Cleveland pulls out the Swedish flag. Says, "Oh, it's the ISIS flag." Fucking hell. And then there's this message to the Christian churches, message to Muslims: Israel progress and duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take it out of context, of course it looks bad, but I didn't see the interview with Benjamin Netanyahu.
There is no other context. That's the problem. Like that yeah, out of
The
context.
fact that he had
What context? No one provided context. Did Peterson provide context?
I don't know. Well, what I'm saying, the context is he made a video in which he
No.
called upon Christians to behave a certain way. He made a video in which he called upon Muslims or asked Muslims, why it is or how it is they should behave. And then he interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu. The context is he didn't bother to have an interview with a leader of a Christian church.
No. He didn't bother to put out a message to Jews.
Right.
That's the context. The context is right there. He set that context. That's funny if you have a sense of humor.
And Irving's response, what?
Look,
all right. Now I haven't seen this. Getting my kid from the roller rink may be able to jump in later. Okay, and then he shared this.
Yeah, no, Terry.
What the? See, Nick
No, go next. Yeah, respect women. Like CIA nig. These are the names of the players. This is great.
What game is he playing?
Doesn't matter.
I wonder if it's Necromorph.
The fact that it sneaks past the algorithm.
It's Monster Hunter. Okay. It's Monster Hunter that he's playing. Oh, Christ. Fucking Pox is always worth a laugh, man.
Look, man, like, all I know is there are a bunch of people that just want to go about their lives, right? They want to go to work. They happily go to work, They struggle to buy food, and they're happy to do it. Like, look at what's happening to food. Cost of food is going up. Do you know what a fucking head of romaine lettuce costs today? No. Romaine lettuce is like $5 for a head of fucking lettuce.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And these people are happy to pay it because they're happy to go to work. They're just fucking cattle that just go and cattle their way through and spend what little money is given to them on food. And they're completely oblivious to the idea that there is a group of human beings that are doing it to them, that are consciously destroying the value of their money to make their assets more valuable so they can have more power over them.
Well, yeah. It's always been that way, though, right? But it's accelerating now because I think what's happening is the people who have the power to make changes to our food supply, to make world-changing policies that will impact the poor, they are the elite, and they see the writings on the wall, and they realize the only way that they're going to achieve their goals is if they basically try and eliminate half the population, and they want to do it, and they want to do it over the medium term. They want to do it in the next few decades, right? That's why they're pushing for war in Ukraine. That's why they're pushing for accelerating a war in Ukraine. They don't care that there might be a nuclear Armageddon because they know they're safe. They're going to be in bunkers. They don't care that food prices are going to rise because they've got disposable income. They can pay whatever price they want. They eat fucking gold leaf steaks. C-Mac, I'm not making fun of you.
No, if you can eat it, do it. Go.
But my point is that they don't care, because at the end of the day, they realize that it's not going to affect them, and ultimately, even if the worst things were to happen to people around the world, it won't affect them. And they've constituted in such a conspiratorial way that the chance of them ever being outed for it and facing justice for it is slim to none. It's slim to none. But the white pill moment is they played their hand too early, they played it too hard, and they didn't count on the idea that people would have the internet at their fingertips, and that a social media aggregator like Twitter would fall into the hands of somebody who actually values what the everyday people, actually doesn't have any malicious intent towards, its users, or at least he doesn't seem to. And the fact is, it's people becoming more and more aware of these machinations going on behind the scenes, and there will eventually be a comeuppance, and there will be, you see it on the internet all the time. Nuremberg 2.0. They want to have trials for people who pushed COVID nonsense in an effort to scare people into getting an experimental drug injected into them. So there will ultimately be a comeuppance. How complete it will be, I don't know. But my hope is at the end of it all, we'll be living in something. There'll be such distrust in centralized power, such distrust in centralized media, that we'll be living in something akin to Rousseau's state of nature for man, right? Where people don't institute top-down government control over their lives. They live self-sufficiently and cooperate with one another when they need to. In order for that to happen, though, it has to be based on shared values. Now, the globalists and the elitists have worked very, very hard to make sure that we are balkanized in such a way that we're never going to have shared values. But there will be one shared value. We hate the people at the top, and we'll do anything to stop them, and we'll do anything to keep anyone from rising to too much power. This is the point that I see happening in the medium to long term future. That's the white.
Can I have my banner back?
Can you have your banner back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, for sure. Irving's Oddities. Back
Have
up.
you ever noticed that whenever a nation or the leader of a nation has decided that they're going to get their country back on a gold or precious metal standard, and as soon as they do, they're going to expel the foreign owned and outside controlled central banks so that they can have their own currency without outside influence, that suddenly that nation is filled with monsters and always has been, and the leaders have to go. We have to liberate the people who are experiencing economic booming in their nation for the first time in 50 years. Are what? Like Russia, Ukraine? Did you watch that Netflix
Libya
special? Libya. Did you watch the Netflix special called Winter on Fire?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice in the
No, I'm
first
sorry.
5
I'm thinking
minutes?
Ukraine on Fire. I don't know if I saw Winter on Fire.
Ukraine on Fire, Winter on Fire, sure.
Okay.
In the first 5 minutes, they admit this is all a fucking psyop. That Russia versus Ukraine is a fucking psyop.
Yeah.
That the leader of Ukraine was legitimately elected and they couldn't contest that. And then suddenly there's turmoil in the streets. What they don't tell you in that fucking in that psyop Netflix special is that this is entirely 100% funded by the American CIA and George Soros.
Mm-hmm.
This officially elected leader in what is supposed to be a first world nation, is now being deposed by money and nothing else. The people, the will of the people doesn't mean anything. Okay? That man was trying to establish a good relationship with his closest neighbor and tightest trading ally. And then, oh, that's a crime? Like anyone who ever decides we should have enough gold and precious metals to back our currency is an enemy of the we commonly call them Rothschilds, but it's Rothschild. And yeah, their central bank, that's a privately owned and foreign controlled entity that has the power over your government. Anyone who's ever defied them suddenly has to be destroyed. Zelensky is calling for preemptive nuclear strikes on Russia, right? Like it's fucking gross. All because Russia just recently has accumulated enough gold and silver to back every ruble. Every ruble is backed by physical precious metals. And now suddenly Russia is a monster that needs to be destroyed. They were controlled for a long time and nobody gave a shit because they had a central bank that was controlled and International Monetary Fund support. Yeah.
Well, let's see them destroy a superhero when a superhero becomes Prime Minister of Canada.
Hey, try to claim some real physical gold and silver and remove a bank.
It'll be maple syrup.
Assassinate Canada, man.
No, they won't.
As soon as they get the opportunity.
No, they won't because he's a superhero. He can't be killed. So, or if he is killed, he'll come right back, right? Just like all good superheroes. That's the legacy of symbols. I mean, I'm making a joke. That's the power of symbols, right? It's fine to be a leader that says the right things, but if you're a symbol that other people can immediately look at and understand what you represent, you're that much more powerful. So, okay, let's take, for instance, the joke that Canada man's going to run for prime minister and become prime minister and stand on the floor of the House of Commons in costume. Okay. So let's say he did get assassinated. His costume's not that difficult to replicate. Someone else will just put it on and he'll be the new king.
You're so far off topic. Look, man. If you defy the central bank, you got to go. All right. And that's something I was talking about off air. There's a small group of people that think all the world belongs to them and all the humans are for their consumption, either directly or indirectly.
Yep.
And the moment you start pushing them out, see, Libya didn't want to start a new gold-backed universal currency. They had acquired enough gold to do it. That's when it became a threat, and that's when Gaddafi had to go.
That's right.
All the things he had done prior to that.
He did it with the blessings. He did it with the blessings of the CIA who put him into power.
But the moment he had the blessings of his people and enough gold to boot out the central banks, that's when, he's a monster and always has been. And we have to liberate his people from their economic boom. And what happened next? Their economy fell apart. The whole country went to shit. And now they have open air slave trading markets to this day.
Yep.
Okay. The moment you decide, I don't want to be a debt slave, I don't want my nation to be in debt to a monster that pretends it has wealth, that's when you have to go.
Yep. So this is what we're at right now in terms of the global or international relations. There are two powers, right? There's the NATO nations, the central bank nations, the globalist nations of, United States, Europe, all of them. And then there's the BRICS nations, right? We've got Brazil, Russia, India, China, and I want to say Syria. Okay. None of them are great countries in terms of their human rights. However, they're the ones who are saying, no, we're going to be the global superpower. And
No, I don't think that's correct. I don't
no,
think they're turning around and saying we're going to be a global superpower. That's a narrative fed to us by the CIA, by the Rothschilds. No. We're going to be a metal-backed currency. Take
right.
it or leave it. Global superpower doesn't play into it.
Well, no, the reason but they will be, right? They'll be the
Maybe they
alternative.
will. If all of us are very lucky, they will be that.
No, well, they
Let
won't be the main one. They'll be the opposing one. There will be two, right? Ultimately, and here's the other thing: Russia, at the very least, Brazil, Syria, India. I won't say necessarily for China because I don't know. They're all
China's
they're
after
all
it.
they're all nationalist, right? They all believe in free, unfettered, growth of their own nations. They're not concerned with a global agenda. They're concerned with the agenda that makes sense for their nations. So that's why they've banded together. That's also why Bolsonaro was stabbed and was basically had his presidency stolen from him because he too is a nationalist. It's the same reason that Trump got impeached twice and had his election stolen from him. So, and YouTube can do whatever the fuck they want to my stream. I know they're going to say it, but that's what it comes down to. And if you think that Biden actually won, then you know what, you're welcome to believe that. If you can't see shenanigans when they're staring you right in the face, then I don't know what to say to you. So let's see. Gaddafi's paper on how real democracy should work is actually really good. I haven't read it, but maybe I'll give it a look.
Yeah.
All I do know is that Gaddafi had an awesome personal guard. Those tall fucking hot chicks in short shorts. It was SNC Lavalin that was trying to smuggle the Gaddafi kid into Mexico. Remember? No, I did not know that. Who's the Gaddafi? What was he full? Did he have a ton of gold on him or something, or what? Gaddafi's kid?
Uh, uh, there was more to SNC Lavalin than that, but I wouldn't be surprised to discover that, he was handed up to
Yeah.
people that, because Trudeau's in the pocket
Yeah. Oh yeah.
of bad people,
Yeah.
right? And China is working on getting enough gold, but not for nationalist reasons, for globalist reasons, to control the globe. Russia has been doing it for the same reason Libya was doing it,
Right.
to free their nation from the yoke of slavery of an outside foreign controlled central bank.
What about Hungary? What's there? They're probably still the central bank, right?
Uh, give them time. It's going
Yeah.
to be hard. It's going to be hard to overthrow a Hungarian government. Like,
Well, Viktor Orban is hugely popular, from what I understand.
yeah,
And
and soon
and
enough,
he is also a staunch nationalist, right?
and he'll suddenly come up and say, "Hey, we have enough gold," and then you'll see it. Oh, Viktor Orban has actually been murdering Jews and gays. Like as
No,
soon
Zelensky.
as
Zelensky's the
he
one who
can
kills
do
the
it,
Jews.
they'll fucking spin the narrative, because you know what people love more than fact? Stories. They love stories, man. That's why we get sucked into movies and TV shows, because Facts don't mean anything to us. You know what we love? A good story.
Just imagine this story. A guy in a cape and a mask standing on the floor of the House of Commons telling everyone that Canada is going to fundamentally change under his leadership.
You don't understand, Craig, how much I want this and how much I worry for you. Because I want
Me,
this.
not
I
me.
want
I'm talking about Canada Man.
I want this so much, and I also know that to make it real, Canada Man will have to be fucking assassinated by globalists. Like you don't like you, Canada Man, poor Canada Man will have to sacrifice his life to make this come right. That the people after him are the people that are gonna like stand on his legacy. It's so sad, and I don't want that outcome for him or you or myself. And yet, yeah,
Well,
that's what we
I
need.
can't speak for him, but knowing his nature, I think he believes it to be a sacrifice worth making. But I also think he would, make use of every bit of technological wizardry he has to keep himself safe. Uh, I think part of his costume, he's going to have to put in a plate carrier, and he's going to have to wear a mask that is armored, so that it would be difficult for him to be assassinated. They'd have to poison him, but since all he eats is maple syrup and pancakes and poutine occasionally, I don't know. It'd probably be easy for them to poison him because they know what he eats, right? So hire Jonah Hill to be Canada Man's body double now. Do I hold on? I need to know. Do I really look like Jonah Hill? I don't think I look like Jonah Hill at all.
No, if Jonah Hill was a man, he might look a little like you. Yeah, no. That,
How so? I don't have a Jonah Hill nose. I don't have a Drew Fro.
no. That's what I mean. If Jonah Hill dreamt he was one day a man, he would picture himself like you. Like it's a bit of a reach. It is, but it's there. Like the Ron Jeremy thing. I don't look anything like Ron Jeremy.
No, you look more like Magnum PI than you look like Ron Jeremy.
If Magnum PI and Ron Jeremy had a baby, that would be me. Yeah, I get it. It's there. It's not unreasonable.
Well, Ajax, you can think of me what you will. I don't care. I don't think I look like Jonah Hill at all. So that's on you.
No, you don't look like Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill looks like he wishes he could grow up to be. Yeah.
It makes me sound like it makes me think he thinks I'm fat. Am I fat? Okay, I'm overweight. I know that, but I
You
don't
could
consider myself
stand to lose
fat,
a couple for sure.
Yeah, I know I could stand.
You know that. Yeah. I'm
Well, I
not
know I can lose a couple
you.
pounds. I know I'm overweight, but I don't think of myself as fat. Now that being said, Jonah Hill dropped a bunch of weight too, so I know he's put it back on, but he dropped a bunch of weight.
Actually, I watched that bit called Maniac.
Yeah, that's a great
It's
series.
quite good. Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, folks, yet, Maniac. It's him and what's her name? Christ.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. Yeah, huge crush on Emma Stone. It's him and Emma Stone, and it's just really, really good. Really good. And who else is in it? That other guy from fuck. He plays the doctor. What's his name? Not Jake Gyllenhaal. What the hell's his name?
No, I can't remember.
He did that. He did that movie where he's a paparazzi who like stalks people. The fuck
I
is
don't
it?
know. I can't remember.
Anyway, it's really good. It's really good. It's a Netflix series and it's really good. I've recently started. Are you into anime at all?
Sometimes.
I recently started watching Demon Slayer on Netflix. It's really good.
I heard it's great.
It's really good, and I'm like, I didn't expect it to be because I'm looking at the character designs. I'm like, I'm a Samurai Champloo, like Cowboy Bebop kind of guy. I don't like the really cutesy looking anime characters, but I'm watching this. I'm like, Yeah, you know what? The character designs, I can see past it because the story and the action is just so good.
So I exist in a weird time for anime. Uh, when I was like 12, I got a bootleg VHS copy of Akira. Right, that was famously short-lived in North American theaters,
Yeah.
and I fell in love with it. And you know, by 2021, telling people, "Oh yeah, no, I love Akira. It's one of my favorite movies." These fucking kids, 13, 14 years old, were telling me, "Oh, you're a poser. It's so fucking mainstream." Blah, blah. But now, suddenly, after Naruto and Dragon Ball, anyone who hears, "Oh, Akira? Oh, that's so old school. That's like fucking hipster shit. Like you're super cool for knowing what it is because they don't know what it is anymore." And it's like, you know what, motherfuckers? The only reason you have that quality of anime is because I liked Akira. So fuck you.
I heard Ninja Scroll is another good one to sort of cut your teeth on.
No, Ninja Scroll is a bullshit version of Basilisk, and you should watch Basilisk instead.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I'm going to share this picture just to prove Ajax wrong. That does not look like me.
Yo, 20 odd years ago? No, 30 years ago. Yeah, no, I buy it.
No way. Not at all. Not at all.
Just a little. Just a
No,
little.
I
Like,
don't see it. I don't see it at all. You're basically saying a white guy with beard and glasses is Jonah Hill.
yes. No, yeah, no. Like, the difference between you and Jonah Hill is you're not Jewish.
That's true. I am not Jewish.
Yeah, no. Take the Jewish away, and yeah, that's a young you.
Well, you know what I say to you and Greater Ajax? You can go fuck yourself. Anyway,
That's anti-Semitic.
oy vey. Now I've already told a joke tonight earlier, but I'm going to leave it open here for Irving to tell a joke. I think you said you had one, didn't you?
Did I?
Maybe you don't.
No, I don't have a joke.
All right.
No, 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 no. We were hoping I would get very drunk and go down the rabbit hole, and I'm not going to do that.
You kind of did. You went on the Rothschild.
No, that's not a rabbit hole. That's out in the open, and everyone knows, and no one cares.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what makes me so mad about that.
Yeah.
Like, God, have you seen the land they own? They literally own a nation's worth of land,
Yeah.
and it's like handed down. God, don't. No, no, no. You want to go down that Neanderthal rabbit hole?
Oh, the Neanderthal rabbit hole. No,
No, no, no, no, no.
we're over 2 hours now. We can discuss it on your stream next week if you want.
We shouldn't discuss this anywhere. Okay, we should have Pox
Well,
in a
no,
private
because
chat.
no, but what you're talking about, okay, I'm not going to get into details, but what you were talking about is not controversial. The implications of it, the inferences that one might make is what's controversial.
Well, look, you want to say there are bad people in the world who do bad things to get more control so they can use people and extract their labor to make more wealth and power for themselves. You'll call me suddenly a leftist who thinks that yeah, no, corporations are evil. Once I tell you who is doing it, you'll call me a fucking Nazi.
All right, I am going to share a joke from Mr. Greater Ajax despite my better judgment. I have a joke for you. What do you call a barn full of black people?
I don't know. What do you call a barn full of black people?
Antique farm equipment.
Oh, oh my God. Oh, okay. I have the worst fucking joke ever based on that one.
All right.
Black lives haven't mattered since John Deere created the tractor.
Similar, yeah.
Oh God! Oh, what the fuck! Oh,
That's terrible. You're all terrible people in the ammunition.
shut
No,
it
we can
down.
laugh. We can laugh because we understand the horror of these jokes, right? Okay. We're laughing at the horribleness of the jokes. We're not laughing at anything else associated. We're not laughing at any truth about the jokes. We're laughing at the horror of the joke. Anyway, folks, it's been a wonderful night. We've had a great stream tonight. We had a very special guest, Mr. W.R. Costin, who's now gone Betty bye. CMAC was in briefly, but she had some technical difficulties. Maybe next time we'll have her on more full throated, as it were. And I want to thank you all for coming out. Irving, have you got anything you want to touch on before we call it a night here?
You're a free person, not free people, not race or nation or creed. You yourself, you're free. You make your own choices. All right. And if your choice is to comply, that's your choice. All right. Don't think someone made you do it. You're not made to do anything. Ultimately, you end up choosing. If you choose to capitulate, okay, in a way, I understand. But man, at the end of the day, you die on your feet or live on your knees. Your choice. That's my final thought there.
And I think that's a good place to leave it. Remember, folks, the lap dance is so much better when the stripper is crying.
Hail Sigmar.